Okay, good morning everybody, good afternoon. I think we're just about into 12 o'clock, aren't we? So either or goes. Thank you. Thank you all for joining us, Maitre, at the BPM Pro Special Effects stage. Hopefully we can give you an insight about what Maitre is all about. We manufacture pyrotechnics and special effects here in the UK, which is something we're rather proud of, and not many people are still doing now. So everything we do is manufactured in Peterborough, that's our pyrotechnic division. We also have a head office down in Mitcham in London. We have offices in Missouri and Las Vegas as well. Guess where I get to spend most of my time? It's not Las Vegas. Hello, my name's Elaine Frost. I'm head of sales for Maitre. Behind me we have Paul Frost, who's our head technician for today. So what we want to do, as I say, is to give you a bit of an insight into what Maitre is about. We manufacture pyrotechnics and special effects, so all the bangs and flashes that you see on the X Factor, and I'm going to name drop that quite a few times today, and the X Factor, Strictly Come Dancing, and all the big productions worldwide. Most of the time, a lot of the product on those will be Maitre's. So we're going to start by showing you a few of the smaller effects. Now these are very, very much panto type of things. We're going to start with what we call a theatrical flash small. Now I'll try and give you indications as to where you're going to see them. The theatrical flash small is one of the smallest effects that we do. It's sometimes used as a transformation effect. So if you're trying to divert people's attention from one part of the stage, this is what you would use. Now this is called a theatrical flash small. So puff of rise and smoke with a flash at the base of the unit. Now we do those in small, as you just saw there. We do a medium version, a large, and we do them with colours. We also do them with a loud report and an extra loud report. So today we're going to show you the loud report. For those of you that aren't awake yet, I can assure you that you will be in a couple of seconds' time. Okay, so there is going to be a bang, guys. So this is the theatrical flash extra loud report. It sounds like this. Every time it makes me jump. I know it's going to come, but still it makes me jump out of my skin. And that was the one that I was telling you about earlier. There are also other effects that we do that can give you that sound effect, but without the visual, so without the smoke and the flash, which are concussions and maroons. Now, lots of places do use this type of effect, and they can get louder. We're not going to get much louder than that today, because I quite like having you as my friends for the day, and I don't want you all going away and leaving me on my own here. So what we're going to show you next is a silver star. Now this is a very similar effect to what you've just seen, but there are tiny bits of magnesium in the composition, and what that gives you is a starry effect. What you need to bear in mind when you're using a product like this is it does have a fallout to it. So what's going up is coming back down again. So one place not to position this type of effect is at the front of the stage, because you're going to have all of the band members in there with their drum kits and their pianos and everything else getting smothered in pyrotechnic ash and fallout as well, which they won't be your friends for very long, rest assured. So these are silver stars. Just watch the fallout that comes down from them though, so just to give you a bit of an idea. So we've got silver star medium, stage left and stage right, and middle, centre stage. Oh God, he's on the ball today. So that's the silver star effect there. And as I say, tiny bits of magnesium in the composition there to give you that starry effect. We also do those in colours. The colours will be the flash around the base of the unit. So the stars and the smoke will all be white. Now, if you're looking for, one of the questions that we get asked quite a lot of is if we can produce a coloured smoke through a smoke machine, and the answer is a resounding no. Because if you start adding dyes to it, it becomes more like a paintball effect. So you'll get a nice splodge of colour, and then you'll get your natural smoke again. One way of being able to create this is by doing a coloured smoke. So they do smell a bit, they're not very nice on the nose, but nonetheless they are an extremely good effect. Now, what we're going to show you next, again, very X-Factory, I love these. These are called silver jets. So a jet in pyrotechnic world is an instantaneous shot of silver sparks. Okay, so 1 second and it's all done with. We do these in a 20-foot version, and we also do them on a reduced height version. So if you have got a smaller nightclub, there are effects that we have that would be suitable for you. So this one is a silver jet, and we have them as all three positions. So very much with the wow factor there. As I say, we do those in two different heights, a reduced height version, which is 12 foot, and the one that you just saw there, which was a 20 foot. What you need to bear in mind is when we say an effect is going to go 20 foot, the highest part of the spark will reach that 20-foot position. The bulk of the effect will be around about 18, 19 feet, okay? So difference between pyrotechnics and fireworks is a pyrotechnic has been designed for inside use. So it will do what it says on the tin. If we say it's going to go 20 foot, the highest spark will reach 20 foot. If we say it's going to go 10 seconds, it will be 10 seconds bang on the money, okay? We've been manufacturing for 40 years here in the UK, so we sort of know what we're doing in the pyrotechnic world now. Okay, what are we going to show you next are some mines. So these are instantaneous shots of silver sparks. We do these in different heights. We do a 10 foot to 12 foot, so again suitable for the much lower stage. We then do a 15 to 20 foot, right the way up to 100 foots now we're manufacturing these. But obviously we wouldn't have many stage areas that got 100 foots available inside. Sorry? Okay, so I've just told you about something that you're not going to see just yet, because I'm running before I can walk. I'll get back to those in a minute, but what you're going to see now are the mini gerbs. So what you saw just now was a jet. The longer duration of this is a gerb. Now, what we're going to show you are different variations of mini gerbs. These last 7 seconds, so as I say, very much similar to what you saw just now. It's a silver jet, but they're a bit shorter and they've got longer duration to them. Now, I've spoken to a nice chap here earlier who's told me to give a new name to these, because I agree with what he says. They actually do look like what his description is. But these are mini gerbs, flitters, shimmers, and a standard. They last 7 seconds and they look like this. Okay, so that's what the mini gerb range looks like. So just now I tempted you with what a mine looks like. Now we've invested huge amounts of money in our factory in Peterborough to make our mines work exactly as they are at the moment. So we do various different colours, we do various different types. We manufacture 3 different types of pyrotechnic ranges. We do what we call the PyroFlash range, which is a simple plug and play system. So basically you have a flash pod, so in your nightclub or in your club, wherever, you have a set of flash pods, rig them all up for your evening's performance, fire your show off, next day just come along, simply plug and play the next system in. So it's very, very simple, very, very easy to change over. Pro Stage 2 is a bit more for the pyrotechnic, professional pyrotechnician. Now that's bare ends, so it's been designed to be built into your scenery, okay? So you don't have the need for the flash pods, and some staging areas or clubs, nightclubs, whatever, don't actually have the space for the pods, etc. So the Pro Stage 2 range of effect are actually bare ends. We also do a new range which is called VS, that's virtually smokeless. So when it goes off, it does go off with a degree of smoke, but it dissipates almost immediately, okay? So when our customers talk to us, we listen to what they're saying. They told us some of the effects are a bit too smoky, which are perfect for some applications, but not for others. So virtually smokeless is a great range, because not only is it smokeless, the colours on the auras are absolutely spot on. So giving your whole staging area a nice colour to it. Okay, so what we're going to show you next are some 20-foot mines in amber and shimmer, and they look like this. Very, very pretty effect. One of my favourites, the glittery effect is. Okay, so, but as I say, we do those in various different heights and various different colours. Now, our guys up in Peterborough have got the greatest job in the world. They're all chemists, all proper chemistry trained people. And every now and then they put a few chemicals together and they come up with something wonderful. Sometimes it's not quite so wonderful, believe me, but we still have all of our limbs and fingers and everything else going up there, so it's all good. But they do come up with some wonderful effects. Now, one of the effects that they brought out most recently is a bit of a change of everything that we're doing with the mines, but it's called a volcano mine. Now, it's in a conical tube, so what happens is when it goes off, it almost throws the stars up into the air, so it gives you a really nice effect. Now, what we're going to show you first is the small pink volcano mine. Now, in pyrotechnic form, it's been very difficult to get the colours of pink, blue and purple over the years, but now we've managed it, and our small volcano mines look a little bit like this. These ones are in pink. Perfect. Okay, so sticking to that particular range of effects, which is the volcano mine, we also do what we call a large volcano mine, exactly the same, but it's much, much bigger. Now, this one we're going to show you is in a silver fizz. Really, really pretty effects, and again, a very, very new type of product for us that we've managed to manufacture. So this one is a large silver fizz volcano mine. It's part of the VS range, so very, very non-smoky. When it goes off, as I say, it will have a degree of smoke, but it will dissipate almost immediately. So what we have next is the large Silver Fizz Volcano Mine. I should have said to you blink and you miss it, but they are very, very punchy. They're great effects, and they take up a great area on the stage and fill a great area as well. Right, what we're going to move on to next are our flame effects. Now, what we're going to show you here is a 200-gram flame. Okay, so basically that's the amount of composition fill there is in the tube. We do a 55-gram, 70-gram, 100-gram, and a 200-gram. Okay, each one of those is different heights and different durations. What you need to be cautious of when you're firing off a flame projector even, is not only what's around it, but what's above it as well, because heat rises, so it's still going to be hot up there, so don't forget that thing. Now, you're all going to get warmed up, well, that's quite warm in here already, isn't it? But you're all going to feel the heat of this one. Now, this is called a 200-gram flame projector. It's in a natural colour, and it looks like this. I'm absolutely sweltering now. That's one for a cold November, December day, isn't it? Okay, so next, very much sticking to that range, we also do that type of effect with a colour. Now don't forget, because of the size of the arena here that we have, we could have gone much, much higher, but you know, we're a Maitre, we always err on the side of caution, so we're sticking to the sensible things. But not only can we do effects that are much, much bigger than this, we can also do things that are much, much smaller too. So if your ceiling heights are lower than this, please come speak to us, we've got lots of options for you as well. So, what we're going to show you next is the same effect that you've seen before, but this one's in red. We do them in various different colours. Again, pretty much every colour of the spectrum. Red, purple, green, orange, pink. This one's called a red intense flame. It'll go around about 12 foot, and again, you're going to feel the heat from this one. Okay, so again, bear in mind, not only is it going to be hot around it, it's going to be hot above it as well, okay? Right, moving on to the next range of effects. Again, a new effect for us. One of our wonderful chemists come up with this, playing around with different types of things that we do, different types of pyrotechnic forms. So they've created this effect, which is called a gerb flame. So basically, it does what it says on the tin. It's a mixture of a gerb and a flame, and they look absolutely fantastic. Now, we've got you, now I need to check the colours here. So, right, a mixture of blue and red, okay? So again, they're available in all different colours. And they look like that. Very, very effective. If you're thinking of those along your front of your stage, if you're looking for something a bit punchy, they're a really good effect to choose. Now, we're going to stick to the core burns now. So again, we've just brought out this new range of ice gerbs. So for when you don't have much space in your DJ box or on your stage, we do stage gerbs, and they're quite big and they're quite bulging. We're going to come and show you a few of those shortly. But we've just brought out this new range, which is called the ice gerb. They're much tighter, which means that the safety distances is a lot closer. You can get a lot closer to them. We get asked a lot of the time about safety distances, and this is something that we can't really help you in. Now, legally, we have to provide a safe working distance on the product. It's all on there, it's all on the website for you and everything else. But we can't give you safety distances. Now, if you don't mind, I'd just like to explain one of the reasons. It might make sense. Some people think that we're being a little bit awkward not giving them, but if I tell you a story like this. So, for instance, if we've got a gerb running there, I'm quite happy for an ice gerb to be running at, say, 2-3 metres, for argument's sake. So I'm quite happy for that to be going. I mean, quite a tight outfit, so I'm quite safe to be there. So if we was to give you a 3-metre safety distance on that, that would apply to every person that's using it. Now the next day, a bride could come in, somebody with a big ball gown, so straight away, that safety distance has been cut down because the size of the dress and everything else. So it's not us being awkward with the safety distances, it's down to you guys to risk assess this on site, okay? Right, so where are we? So next we're going to show you these core gerbs. Now, these are a very stuttery effect. So they last 4 seconds, but again, we do them in different durations and different heights. Now, what we have here is one in pink, one blue, and one green. They last 4 seconds, and they're both 15 feet in height. What you guys at the front can't see because there's a pyro board here, but you guys should probably get a great effect of it, or a great view of the effect here, is there's a column of colour behind there. So ideally you wouldn't have this plate thing at the front, so you'd be able to see that very, very clearly. But the colours are very, very vivid, very, very strong. And again, it's part of the BS range, so you don't get the smoke to it. Okay, next we're going to touch on the range of stage gerbs that I mentioned to you. These are Pro Stage 2s. We're on the wired effects now. Now, oh sorry, comets, right, okay, this is why I need him. Okay, so what we're going to show you next are the comets, 20-foot comets. Now these are purple with tail. We do 3 different types in the range. We do what we call a VS, which is what we're going to show you now, which is quite a slow comet. Now we're going to fire these off. They use these on the X Factor, and what they have is 1 stage left, 1 stage right, angled in, and some of them go so quickly that all you'll see is the actual spark and the snow and the smoke that's left behind on them, and that gives you that X that they're looking for. Now we do a tracer comet, which is extremely quick, and we do a laser comet, which is a blink and you miss it. But this one we're going to show you now is a VS comet. These are purple with tail. They go up to 20 foot. We do them as low as 15 foot. We do them as high as 200 foot. So this is what they look like. Okay, so again, they come in various different heights and various different colours. Now we're going to show you those 15 by 20s that I keep trying to push for. Now, these are a long duration effect. They last 15 seconds, they go 20 feet. Now, a lot of the time we get asked the question, am I able to use my gerb upside down? And the answer is absolutely a resounding no. Now, the reason being, the composition's pressed in such a way that it has a choke in the middle. Now, if you was to fire that up the wrong way, the gases could build up and it could blow. So if we say that it's a gerb, it's to be fired upwards. If it's a waterfall or a cascade, it can only be fired downward. There's no way in saving costs, saving pennies, it's just not worth it. Okay, so what we're going to show you next is a 15-second, I hope, by 20-foot stage gerb. We do these in anything from a quarter second, right the way up to 30 seconds in duration. Height-wise, anything from 6 feet, right the way up to 50 feet. Okay, so, and we can pretty much tailor-make your range, your requirements there. So we'll do a 6 foot, 8 foot, 10 foot, 12 foot. So we have a very wide range here. So what we're going to see here is some 15 by 20 stage gerbs. Okay, so as you can see, you can cover a very vast area of your staging from just 3 simple effects. Now positioned into an angled holder, you can fire 1 up, 1 to the left, 1 to the right, and again it gives you a very, very nice fan. We do provide holders for them, but they're not absolutely required. They're there if you need them, but as I said to you before, the Pro Stage 2 range of effects is actually designed to be built into your scenarios. Okay, next we have a very, very quick gerb from the same range, but these are the jets. This one's a ½ second by 15 foot stage gerb from the Pro Stage 2 range, and that one looks like this. So again, very much a quick blink and you miss it. Right, okay, so now we're up in the truss, right? Okay, so now I'm going to get you guys to have a look up in the truss, because that's where the effects are going to be firing from now. First off, we're going to show you an effect which is called a multi-shot. Now, these are something that's very, very new. Basically, they have 1 igniter and 10 effects in each little panel. You hit your fire button, as I say, there's 1 igniter, and then every second you'll get another effect. What we've got up there is a 25-foot falling star in red and a gold glitter drop, and they look a bit like this. Okay, again, we do those in different variations, and what you've got to bear in mind with something like that, if you're spreading them out all across the back of your stage or the front of your stage, they are very effective when you're actually putting a lot of them together. Okay, staying up in the truss, we're going to show you next our range of iced waterfalls. Now, these have for those of you that couldn't see that colour on the ice gerbs at the front here, these actually do have a column of colour which you should see quite clearly. They're part of the VS range. What we're going to show you first are the ice waterfalls. They're 20 seconds, 20-foot drop, and we have a yellow base and we have a red base, and they look like this. Again, you need to be cautious of your positioning when you're firing off an effect like this, because as you can see, there is still fallout to them. Next up, we're going to stay up in the truss, and we're going to show you an effect which is called the Silver Cascade. Now, the Silver Cascade lasts 20 seconds and 20 foot. Now these are the ones that I was saying to you about. You can't fire a gerb upside down. There is an effect that's designed absolutely for that, and that looks this, don't fire it off just yet, but that is just what I'm going to show you just now. Now we do these in shorter drops and shorter durations. This is a 20 by 20. We do a 15 by 15, 10 second by 8 foot, and we do a 6 second by 8 foot drop as well. So again, we can tailor make these to meet your requirements. So what we have now is a 20 second by 20 foot silver cascade. Okay, so again, lots of those along the back of your stage, or even spread further apart, will give you a very, very nice effect. For very little money, actually, for very little amount of effects. Right, staying up in the truss, we're going to show you next what we call a Chinese confetti airburst. Now, these are fabulous for weddings because they're designed actually to be put over an audience. So you can have them for the first dance. We do them with no report to them, so a quiet version, which has just got a little bit of a pop. We do a standard version, which has got a little bit of a thud, and we do them with a loud report. Then we do them with an extra loud report, which is extremely loud, knock your socks off one. And we also do them with a double fill in them. Now, as I say, they're perfect because they're great for having at a wedding for the first dance. If you're choosing for the first dance, if you want the corporate colours or anything like that, then you can do so with the Chinese confetti airburst. They're simple to install. There's literally a bag, which I don't know if you can see it. The one up here is one very similar to it. But a very simple effect, 2 wires, 2 bare ends on a 36-inch igniter. So, safe to you to be under these and get soaked in confetti. So we'll let this one off, please. This is called a Chinese confetti airburst. This one's in white. It's got a loud report to it. It's not too loud. It's a bit of a thud. But you get a nice spread from those. So, and everybody loves to be spread with confetti for some reason. Right, again, staying up in the truss. Above me here, we have a new effect which is called the glitter burst. So very much similar to what you saw just now. But with the glitter, it's the same types of paper, but the glitter actually catches the light as it's dropping down. Now there is a bit more of a bang to these. Actually, it's quite a bit more of a bang, I'm not going to pretend. These are loud. So we've got these in red, silver and blue. There's not quite such a big spread on them, but you'll be able to see these now. So if we could just fire off those two straight, please. Every time it gets me, every time. My ears are ringing now, as I'm sure everybody else is. But I'm sure you'll agree, really, really nice effect with those. Okay, now, sticking to the pyrotechnics, we have what we call confetti cartridges and streamer cartridges. Now, we've got stage left and stage right here. We have some gold streamers. Now, these will fire up to 50 foot. They sit into a variable angle pod with a fixing clamp. Now, we do them with paper, streamers, metallic streamers and paper streamers as well. Now the gold metallic, which is what I'm going to show you now, is perfect because it catches the light. So again, there is a bit of a bang to these ones. Let's sort out the men from the boys here who's going to stick their fingers in their ears. So here we have gold streamers, bit of a bang guys. I knew it, and everybody will take that streamer home with them, so I've got no clearing up left to do. Perfect, I love it. Right, okay, so that's the pyro. So what we want to show you now is some of our haze machine, snow machines, flame machines, which are going to make you even hotter again, and our low fog systems. So first off, we're going to start with the snow machine. Now, ideally, this would be up in the truck. So it's pushed, it goes around about 20 foot, it's DMX controlled. You can actually control the flake size on it by turning the fans down. But as I say, ideally you'd have this up in the truss. There's truss mounts on there for it. It's a wet snow, so you do need to be cautious as to where you're actually positioning it. It's not slippery, but obviously different, if it's something like lino or a vinyl flooring, it could be. So just assess it accordingly. But it is a wet snow, and I'm now all wet. I don't have to shower, this is Saturday. Okay, so that's the Arctic snow machine. Now, next we are going to show you the low fog system. Now, we have 2 ways of creating a low fog. Now, these are perfect for weddings and a first dance. Everybody loves being on the clouds when they're dancing. Look at me getting all romantic. What's going on here? Shake the sun out of that one. So, these are very romantic and very nice, and they look fabulous, like dancing on clouds. Now, the way that we're doing this is we have a very high output smoke machine here. Now, basically, the way that the smoke machine actually processes that fluid with a freeze fog keeps it low. So it uses CO2, liquid dipped, high pressure or low pressure CO2. What the CO2 does, it goes through to the freeze fog, which acts as a mixing chamber. It mixes all the CO2 along with the low fog together, which gives you this lovely effect that actually does stay low. Rather than reaching an ambient temperature and then just starting to rise, ours will reach that ambient temperature and just completely disperse. As you can see, perfect. Okay, so that's the low fog system. We also do a dry icer. We haven't got that with us. That's called a pea super, but that uses dry ice, okay? I better get out of the way now because I know what we're going to show you next. So, what we're going to start off with is the salamanders. So, salamanders are our flame machines. They use a fuel cell. We do the fuel cells in orange, natural, green or red. Each canister will last you around about 30, will give you about 35 bursts, okay? It's perfect because it will give you a 12-foot height. You can group 4 of these together and get up to a 25-foot height, okay? Uses 2 channels of DMX, one for the hot surface igniter and one for the actual firing of the product. We've got red cans in here, so they are a little bit lower than the 12-foot, but this is what a red salamander will look like. Okay, so that's the salamander. As I say, you can group 4 of those together, link them all together with the flues in the same place and get a higher flame height. The beauty of that is you can also separate them down to 4 separate units if you require a lower flame height or more effects. Next effect that we have is called a Salamander Quad Pro. This is the big boy of all flame machines. So, uses 4 canisters. Again, each canister will give you 35 bursts unless you're using all 4 of them together. Now, one channel will, what I'll do is I'll get out of the way and I'll show you. So, one channel will give you up to a 12-foot flame height, which looks like this. 2 channels will give you up to a 15-foot flame height, which looks like this. 3 channels up to 20 foot, looks like this. Now my eyebrows have just fallen off. And 4 channels looks a little bit like this. 25 foot. We need the low fogger back on now, don't we? Gosh. Okay, so that's a great piece of kit. It's brilliant because you don't need the use of propane. So you don't have to have all the hoses, you don't have to have all the licenses and everything else that you would when you're using propane. Okay, so if you've got any questions, Leisuretec are our distributors. We're on the stand right behind us here. Thank you all so much for coming along. We really do appreciate it. Thank you, guys.